Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Life Behind Bars. This is a step-by-step portrait. You've seen in that little clip at the beginning how I got the image across with the projector. And that's all we've got to do, nice and simple. Size it up, we've got it penciled out, just a little outline to go from, and we've got the TV to the side with the image on that I'm going to sort of go from my reference from. Paints we're using, we're going to use one tone in this. We're going to use Payne's Grey, but then we're just going to drop a little bit of black in it and darken it off in areas to go around this. The brush is going to be the Infinity 2024. The reason why I'm picking this brush for this is the control in it. It's got brilliant control on the trigger. When you want that minimal paint, you can just hit it really nice with the Infinity. Very nice brush to work with. The upgrade I've done to this is I've put the FPC valve on here just so I can dial in the air really nice to the front of the brush. Works great, guys. So I'm going to move you in closer. We're going to do some time-lapse steps, a little bit of talk through along the way. Enjoy the video and I'll see you in the first chat when we've completed the first bit of time-lapse. Right guys, we'll do a little pause and I'll tell you what I've done and how I do it. Now we are just sketching this. You're doing it very sort of light and sketchy, dotty. You're just making shapes. So all you're doing, it may look messy when you're doing it, but then when you stand back and look at the image, you've got the sort of textures down that you're after. Now how I achieve this sort of mottled look for the trees, I'm just flicking the trigger on and off, minimal paint, and just moving it and just dotting the brush and just sort of doing that with it. And flicking it and just following like the random shapes that trees would have as the branches come down, sort of like that. Darkening it off, coming round here, working round. And there's like a rock. And again, just doing sort of random, sort of little crack shapes to make it look like what we've got on the reference. It's very dark on this actual original image. You've only got a light bit here. There's a little bit more sort of rock coming round here. We've got dark at the bottom here, dark again, coming into the trees again, and then we've got the tree coming up this side. So I'm just going to do the same as this, just sketch it, just as though you're going really light with a pencil, and you're just doing random squiggly shapes. So all you're doing then, once all the picture comes together, it'll look like what you are looking at, but it can confuse you when you do it because you think, am I doing it right? It's only until you stop, stand back and have a look at your image, you go, yeah, it's all right. So we'll move on to the next stage. We'll time lapse this bit up here, drop this in, and then we'll have another little talk through. Right, a little pause. We've got the other side of the background in, nice and sketchy, loose, just do it nice and light. You've not got to try and mirror match every single rock edge, you know, just create it yourself. You're just doing little dots and little flick techniques. I was doing a bit on the brush where I was literally just pressing back like that to release the paint with the needle, and then just press the trigger down. Flick the trigger, press it down, flick it, press it down. And that'll just give you a little spit and little dots, just to put a bit of texture over these bits here. You've probably seen it, or you may have seen it, you may not have done, but I've torn a bit of kitchen towel. As you can see, I've sprayed on that, and I just sort of sprayed and just moved with the kitchen towel, just creating different tones coming up here. And then we moved on to the trees again, same technique as this side. You're just doing on and off the trigger and moving and just creating them sort of textures of the branches coming up. Drop the tree trunk in there. All done in Payne's Grey so far. We're going to go over and drop some mix of the black in a little bit dark a bit later on, and we'll just start to shadow out and dust in around some of the outsides, the darker black, just to tone it right down. The next stage is to move on to the guy on the bike. We're just going to freehand this straight in with the Payne's Grey. Go in light and build it up with the Payne's Grey. Just keep going over the top where I need the darks. I'll just keep going over and over. But sketching out all freehand again, just nice and loose, like you're sketching with a pencil. So I'll see you in the next time lapse. There you go guys, we've got it down. Just sketching it out nice and quick. This one's probably taken 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes just to sort of sketch out. Now I did go in with the paper that I've got, that I'm using. You can literally go in and where there's like the highlights, you can just knock it back and just put some textures in, because it's quite sort of like bright on this piece and then just sort of darkens out, and just to create some little textures, little highlights on that rock edge there, you can just knock that back, just put a little soft highlight in, and you can create like the little textures just to make them bits pop forward a little bit more. Same as here, you can just now go in and just do some random highlights on that, and it just pops that forward a bit. So quite a nice easy one. I dropped the paints ground, I dropped a couple of drops of the black in. You've seen that pop up on the screen on the time lapse, and just went back over and just darkened up the more shadowed areas with a darker tone and just blended it in. We'll demask it. We've got some masking around it. The infinity worked brilliant, guys. It really does. This is what I mean for when you want to bounce on and off that trigger really, really quick, but minimal paint, and the flow rate is absolutely perfect with the infinity. It's just instant, and you can just achieve. That's why I picked this brush for this today, because I knew there'd be a lot of sort of on and off the trigger, creating them like real dots, sort of like squiggles and things to create these, and the brush just worked great. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys, and picked a little bit up along the way. Just keep it light, low pressure. We're running around 12 psi, low pressure, thin paint. You've seen the mixing ratio pop up in the time lapse on the paint, and it's really thin, so you can really just flick the trigger. You're really soft on the trigger. You get no finger fatigue when you've got really thin paint. You're not really pulling back. You're just bouncing on that trigger and you get the artwork down. So thanks for watching, guys. Drop your comments, tell me your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe, press that notification, and I will see you lot in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.